The sun no longer sets on Nigerians. This is because Nigerians can now be found in virtually all nations and regions of the world. In Tall Drums, we bring you stories of Nigerians making remarkable contributions to the improvement of the human condition. Here is your host, Dr. Ugoji.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Tall Drums. Last week, we brought you the extraordinary story of Dr. Victor Ukwala, the Chancellor of the Southern University at New Orleans, SUNO. In this episode, we bring you a full introduction to SUNO as a university. We will do this with interviews we conducted with some of the senior officers of SUNO, including Dr. Victor Ukwala himself. This is a story about what SUNO as an institution has to offer potential students. It is also a story about SUNO's recovery from the Katrina disaster that befell the New Orleans area in 2005.
Tall Drums is presented by Sungai Corporation, publishers and consultants.
Southern University System is the only historically black university system in America. What I mean by that is that in America, public schools are usually divided into different systems. Mm-hmm. Like I just mentioned to you, in Tennessee, all the schools in Tennessee belong to two systems. One Tennessee Board of Regents, one University of Tennessee system. In Louisiana, we have four systems of universities. We have the Louisiana State University system that has universities under it. Right. We have the University of Louisiana system that has universities under it. Our system is Southern University system that has universities under it. Right. Our universities, we have 5 units.
Could you describe your student body for us? What is the student body of SUNO like?
Well, we prior to the devastation, Katrina, we had about 3,600 students. Okay. And many of them are non-traditional, what we call non-traditional. They're not right out of high school. Mm-hmm. They've experienced life, they have families, they have jobs, and now they want to come and get another retool to get back and increase their quality of life. So many of our students are like 25 years old and over. Mm-hmm. They come in, and many of them transfer from junior colleges or community colleges. We don't have that system in Nigeria yet, but I don't know whether the community colleges is a system where people go and do 2 years and then come into a university to complete it. Mm-hmm. We're getting many of our students transfer students from those kind of institutions. Mm-hmm. We do have some that are right out of high school, so we are also addressing those. Our student body is about 1% of our student body is international students. So we are really going to try to see if we can begin to expand and make ourselves more acceptable, more attractive to international students. As such, we are looking at, again, Katrina is moving me quickly to this vision or this challenge, creating student housing for our students. Mm-hmm. Many of our students that are displaced right now, they tell us we come here only if we have somewhere to stay. So not only are we going to try to move into the area of student housing for our displaced students, we're looking at also trying to make it open for everyone in the world. Mm-hmm. As such, we decided to also move into the online offering area as one of our challenges, to try to expand and make access open to everyone that wants to come to us. Since Katrina, our regional accreditation body called SACS, similar to the Nigerian University Commission. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've approved our putting 4 new degree programs online. And many of our students are elated, excited about it. So those that are still in Houston, Dallas, not having a place to come here to call home, they will not lose out. Mm-hmm. They can continue their educational aspiration online on the such time that they're able to come here to look for, to get a permanent housing.
Okay, what's your faculty like?
We have about, prior to Katrina, we had about 130, but now we have about 90 faculty members. Mm-hmm. But those faculty members, highly dedicated, highly committed. Many of them are going beyond the call of duty, knowing that it's the time for us to step up and do what we got to do. Yeah, and they did that in the spring semester. They're doing it now. And not only that, we are looking at the possibility of even expanding our faculty ranks due to the demand of our students. So this week, today that I'm talking to you, is our 3rd day of fall registration. And so by Monday, we should be able to have some good gauge on the number of students that are coming back to us this fall. Our goal continues to be 3,000 students, and I believe we'll get that. We'll get to 3,000. That's our goal. If we get to that, if we get to 3,000, then we can sit back and look at, okay, we need to now go and get new faculty to kind of help us to really staff those classes. But as we bring faculty in, the one thing that we want to be sure that we don't lose sight of is academic excellence. Anyone that we put in front of the students, we got to be sure that that person has what it takes to provide the academic offering, excellence for our students.
This is definitely the place for several reasons. One of the reasons, the culture here now is to support students, to nurture students, and also the commitment is, as a matter of fact, we have what we use as a motto is the fact that if a student has a problem, it's our problem.
I think we have a number of initiatives, and thanks to I think a chancellor that has some foresight and a vision, and especially dealing with technology and e-learning, we are going to basically channel those resources into those particular activities where we think we can get a greater return and exposure on our investment.
Why would somebody want to come to SUNO, for instance? For a foreigner considering university education in America, the first, and this is undoubtedly the major task, is fees. Mm-hmm. Our fees at SUNO are very highly competitive, and you can find the figures on our website or in the catalog. Mm-hmm. Even here in the state of Louisiana, because we have an open admission policy. Also, we are established to help people living in the metropolis of New Orleans.
Without a doubt, I'm convinced that within 5 years, we will be back at 6400 Press Drive. We're currently in the temporary campus at 6801 Press Drive, but with the leadership that we have with Dr. Upolo, I'm convinced that we will be back on the main campus. We will have the 5,000 plus students that we see coming to the university. Currently, we are expecting 3,000 for this semester, but given the programs that we have and the way the city is repopulating, we feel that within 5 years, 5,000 students would be within our grasp. We will have students here on campus as well as online. The online program seemingly is taken off very, very well. So we're very optimistic that in 5 years we will be back bigger, better, and stronger.
They come from Nigeria, from Ghana, Cameroon, Senegal, Lebanon, Iraq, Uzbekistan. They come from all over the world, Canada too.
So if a student has a problem, I don't care what the problem is. I tell them, come to my office. And I've had many students say to me, but you Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, when will you have time? I said, I'll find the time. Because if we do not nurture our students and help them to attain their academic goals, we just one of the herd. We are no different from anybody else. So we are not one of the herd. We are number one.
We have done, especially with the e-learning and online degree-seeking programs, that's fairly new for us. So now we have the ability to go out and reach our community wherever they are in the world.
From my experience, many of our students who came from Africa, they are doing excellently well in the various departments. Okay. We have opportunity for scholarships. If you are a good student, you are making good grades, you have what is known as Chancellor Scholarship. While you are not an American citizen, there are some scholarships that you are not entitled to. But the Chancellor Scholarship is a merit scholarship. It's just determined by your GPA at the end of the semester.
I could go on and on and on about the number of graduates we have, but I'd just like to say that the Alumni Affairs is a second component of the Community Outreach and University Advancement component. In addition to those, we have the Public Relations arm of this unit, which is very, very crucial. What we are seeing right now is a part of our public relations that we do and have done to make sure that the world knows about Southern University at New Orleans. And I'll save the last piece for last, this piece for last, and that is the fundraising component, which is very, very crucial to the success of Southern University at New Orleans. We have been very, very fortunate this year to have received quite a large number of donations that fortunately were unsolicited. And we know that those donations came to us in part because of the devastation of Hurricane Katrina. But we know that in the coming year, we will have to do some cultivation and some serious solicitation of funds to make sure that Southern University at New Orleans is where we want it to be in the years to come.
Africana Studies program or ethnic studies program generally would bring to, in contrast to, in comparison to traditional discipline, is the fact that we have, in the case of African studies, we have an interdisciplinary methodological framework. When we talk about Afrocentricity, we're trying to see black studies from a black point of view. Mm-hmm. Which again goes to counter some of the Eurocentric views that we have in terms of Africa. People talk about Africa being a dark continent and having not made enormous contribution to world civilization. But scholars in my field have kind of proved that wrong right now, in the sense that Africa has made enormous contribution to the development of the world. Mm-hmm. And of course, we gave the world its first human being, therefore giving the world its first civilization and its first technology. But of course, there are scholars who question the Afrocentric perspective. But the truth is that we have to do it ourselves as Africanists. Otherwise, our story will not be heard.
Before the hurricane, there were 4 departments that we had in the College of Business. We had the Department of Accounting, we had the Department of Computer Information System undergraduate, Computer Information System graduate, Department of Business Administration. Those were the areas we had. But as a result of the hurricane and with a change in our mission, the state decided to give us a more practitioner-oriented, seeing the body of students we serve, the kind of education that will allow them to fit directly into what they do. So we revised our program into 3 new degree programs. We have the master's degree in Management Information Systems. We have the undergraduate in Management Information System also. Then we have the Business Entrepreneurship bachelor's degree, and they added a Public Administration degree for us to be able to train the people of New Orleans. But our Public Administration has a public finance emphasis to be able to train state and local officials, and of course the federal officials on how to manage public funds and public resources. So that's the area we're into. In other words, our education has gone from being more theoretical type of education to more applied, again, because of the nature of the client that we serve, which is the older students who are already working in various fields, and those are the kinds of things we see them needing to move forward in their careers. So that's what we offer now. So currently we have 3 degree programs, actually 4. We have the public administration, we have the business entrepreneurship, the bachelor's degree in business and management information system, and the master's degree in management information systems.
In fact, they called me on the phone. Before you just walked in, I had a call from Nigeria from a student. So I'm wondering, how did the student get my number? We have not been advertising. However, you are the first TV crew to be here internationally, so we do appreciate that. Hopefully they can begin to contact us more often via the phone.
And what's the
and
number?
The number is 504-286-5361. And they're going to reach their own sister on the phone.
Okay.
And they can email me at jokoronk@suno.edu.
Now, you mentioned Katrina.
Yes, sir.
For our viewers, could you explain what Katrina was?
Well, yes. It is one of the. It is the. Some people have described it as the greatest natural disaster that's faced America. So there's no. It came in. Is actually hurricane, and we have what we call, each year we have hurricane seasons. Like you have rainy season back in Nigeria, hurricane season that goes from like the June to December to November, June to November. And during that time period, you can expect to get tremendous hurricane, which is like tremendous wind and rain combined and just being highly destructive of lives and properties. And the experts track these hurricanes whenever it gets to us coming across the Gulf. So in this particular case, there's this particular hurricane called Katrina, and they give them names so that we can identify which ones. And they start from A to Z. So in this case, we have the one that has the K, Katrina. And by the time it gets to come across the Gulf, gets to New Orleans, it has picked up a lot of power in terms of its wind strength and rain. Okay, and then devastated New Orleans, and even became more difficult. There was even more devastation because the levee broke. Again, for our audience back home, levee is like putting like a fence. Like putting a fence around a house, around a home. Like when you go to like Victoria Island, you see all those fences around homes. Right. Like put a fence around New Orleans, because New Orleans is like in a bowl. It reminds me of Ikeja that sometimes flood.
Right.
After you have the overflow from Babbage.
Right.
That same thing. With the wind, it broke down the fence, which you call levee, and so the water just came rushing into the entire city, primarily the eastern part of the city where we are right now.
I see.
You will be seeing in a few minutes some of our buildings that were devastated. The western part of the city was not damaged by flood, but by winds. So they call that side the West Bank area. Okay. As a result of that, we have a lot of people got killed, drowned, people were displaced. We are still going through the experience of many of our people being displaced today.
And the original campus of Suno actually is abandoned, right? It's undergoing reconstruction.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's undergoing reconstruction. The state of Louisiana has identified an architect that they've asked us to take the lead on bringing us back. It was originally made up of 11 buildings. We've not been able to occupy any of the buildings yet, but we are hoping that by January we should be looking at partially getting into the buildings.
So essentially you started your chancellorship with the odious task of trying to rebuild from Katrina.
Yes, sir.
And how has that been? And what are the challenges that you faced and you'll continue to face in the near future with respect to the rebuilding effort?
Well, I mean, one of the greatest challenges is bringing back our students and making sure that they get the academic excellence that they need in attaining their educational aspiration. Bottom line, we're about providing excellent education. we have to maintain that. And that was so my first task was to ensure that academic excellence is maintained by ensuring that we keep the right cadre of faculty members.
Right.
So we have to identify faculty members in different disciplines. We have to open up new disciplines that we and to address issues that now Katrina has presented to our community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we have to refocus our goal to now address the area of community needs.
Right.
I created a new division, like in many universities you have academic division, you got student division, you got finance. I came in, I created community outreach division.
Mm-hmm.
that now allow this university to say, we want to be part of rebuilding this community because we're going to need it. As a result of that, we are beginning to make some inroads in terms of participating in addressing key issues for the city.
Mm-hmm.
This university is going to take the lead in the crime prevention summit that is taking place September 16.
Right.
We went to the city and said we want to participate in doing that, and we are now going through the process of getting that done. So we are not only looking at just academics anymore and student issues. Because of Katrina, we've increased our effort in helping to rebuild the city.
Okay. Now you started off saying that you chose economics because you looked to go home and be able to contribute.
Yes.
Now, as you've arrived at a position where, at least by our records, you're the only Nigerian heading a university unit here in America. Going back to that desire you had of wanting to be able to contribute at home, what do you look forward to in that realm?
Well, actually, I've thought about that for a long while, even before I got to this level of chancellorship.
Right.
And I've been instrumental in ensuring that many things have been sent back home in terms of my contribution, and I want to continue to do that. While I was a professor, I established a linkage between Lagos State University and Austin Peay State University that brought Dr. Bababumi,
Mm-hmm.
who was the vice chancellor, to Austin Peay, and then it led into faculty exchange
Mm-hmm.
between two schools. And even then, I've also established linkages with several other Nigerian universities, including the University of Lagos. When Dr. Jalili, may God rest his soul, I think he's passed of recent, was the vice chancellor there. And we were able to exchange some faculty members with Austin Peay State University. At Baton Rouge, when I was there, we had 14 Nigerian vice chancellors visited us in forging relationship with the system office, with all the 5 units. Okay, so, and I've always remained in constant communication with my colleagues at the university administration in Nigeria. A classmate of mine was the vice chancellor at Akwa Ibom, and we communicated immensely in terms of what I can do at this point to assist. Now, as chancellor, I must admit to you that I've been here for several months. My focus, and I hope you understand, has solely become on the recovery of this university. So my hope is that once we get our foot back on the ground, and it's just going to be within a matter of months, because this is a crucial week for us. If we can get our 3,000, keep moving on, then I can begin to look at other areas where we might want to move into. I want to now rekindle my relationship with my colleagues at the Nigerian universities. Actually, what's his name? The director of the Nigerian University Commission, Peter Kebukala. He's a good friend of mine. Okay. And he's unfortunately stepping down, but I wanted to get to, because he's like connecting all the Nigerian universities, and I wanted to call him to see how we can now use the fact that I'm here to be able to take it to Nigeria and see how we can contribute to the academic development, to the growth, to the youth, whatever we can do to help the Nigerian community. at the same time see how that can benefit this institution here, and see whether we can broaden the awareness of Southern University at New Orleans to the African community particularly.
Tall Drums is presented by Songhai Corporation, publishers and consultants.
All right, and one final question. To the non-traditional student on the continent of Africa who may get to watch this program and is looking to come to America like you did,
yes.
And as the Chancellor of SUNO, why should they come to SUNO? What's your message to them?
Obviously, this is, for one thing, they have someone at the helm who's walking through the same footstep, who's been through the footsteps that they will be going through. Okay. Secondly, this university is unique in the sense that we nurture our students. No other university that I know of, particularly in this region here, can address the specific needs of non-traditional students. No question about it. They are used to, like to, continue to want to relate to 18-year-old that came out of high school. They won't know how to act if they have 25 years and older on their campuses. We know how to act because we have been there. We can address concerns of individuals that want to come here and say, look, I need some work along with my educational aspiration. I want to be able to find some way to take care of my children while I go to school. I need some money to feed myself while I go to school. How do I do this? And for coming from Africa, I want to be able to address the issue of immigration. What forms do I need to fill out? Who do I need to talk to? We can take the individual students and work with them one-on-one, not within a group, or look at them like a number. We have the nurturing one-to-one type of relationship with our students, and that is our edge. And that's why our students, I believe, are going to continue to come back to us.
Dr. Kula, thank you very much for having us on your campus.
Appreciate
and wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. For the last words in this episode, we bring you some closing remarks from Dr. Victor Ukpolo, the Chancellor of the Southern University at New Orleans, SUNO. That's our show for this week. I am Ugoji. Until next week, I wish you justice, peace, and liberty. May you become all that you're destined to be.